Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another amazing episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the monarch of Mardi Gras, the Baroness of Bourbon Street. When she is not co-hosting Ringside Society, she's on crazy misadventures, such as looking for the fabled Cobra Kai dojo, dressing up as one of the Road Warriors, and picking fights with random people and destroying people's dinners. Louisiana's own Kathy Knight. In the second corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye spinach. He's the tranquil dart of Ringside Society and Delaware's greatest American hero. It takes two to make a thing go right. He is Rob Bass, and you are not. And in the third corner, we have that ocean crossing, straight up bossing, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always on the go. Catch him if you can. Said his name in Guyana, not enough in Japan. No cap, the worldwide starboy, Remy Blue. And our guest tonight, our special guest tonight, is none other than a man who is actually responsible for the worldwide starboy actually getting into podcast. And that's right, he is the Obi-Wan Kenobi to my Anakin Skywalker. That's right. I'm surprised I haven't made a heel turn yet, but don't worry, Kathy and Rob, I will tell you guys when that happens. Hopefully never. But he is the Sultan of South Beach, the Baron of Biscayne Boulevard, and the owner of one of the hottest promotions in South Florida today, Sweetwater Pro Wrestling. Everybody, welcome to the show, Mr. Suavemente. I always get this part right. Bésame mucho. Straight from the 305 where they keep it live, Mr. Jorge Alonso. How you doing tonight, sir?
Good, man. It's good to be part of the show and back to being around family again. You know, Remy, you and I go way back many, many, many years. So many years that probably Rob and Kathy were wearing diapers.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know Kathy. When I was
so Rob Bass was actually we go so way back. Rob Bass was actually Rob Treble, and Kathy was actually wasn't a night yet. So yeah, for those of you that don't know, Treble is the opposite of Bass. So yeah, but yeah, welcome to the show, man. Honestly speaking, thank you for actually giving us the opportunity. Big things going on, man. Sweetwater Pro back June 12th, man.
Yeah,
so, tell us about it, man.
Well, first and foremost, I'm glad that we're still calling it Sweetwater Pro, and again, we make our triumphant return for many months. Remy, I've been saying the wait will be worth it, and not because of the show that we're gonna put on, but because we're also gonna give you the most safest environment that you can have. Because COVID-19, let's be honest, let's not beat around the bush. COVID-19 is still out there. But we are coming back, and the safest way possible. We're going to have sanitizing stations. We're going to sanitize our ring after every match. We're going to sanitize the chairs. We're going to sanitize your hands. Masks are optional. Things of that nature. You name it, we're going to have it. You're going to be safe.
Awesome. So y'all hear that? For those of y'all that are in South Florida or happen to be in South Florida on that date, if you go to this event, you're definitely gonna have a safe event to go to. You won't have to worry about catching anything. They're gonna look out for you down there, in good old Soul Flow. Man, you got me thinking about booking a ticket and going down there right now, man. If I didn't have to work that weekend. Oh geez.
Well, also at the same time, Remy, June 12th is the ending of an era and the beginning of a new era. I cannot disclose what that is right now. Unfortunately, as much as I want to give Ringside Society that exclusive, all I'm going to say is that there's going to be a new era starting on June the 12th. And let's just say it's going to be much more how can what I can't even describe it into words, man. It's just, let's say, the era of SPW is changing and we're growing. We were a teenager. Now we're an adult. So with an adult comes a new era, and you'll see what happens come June 12th.
So the new era, my mind is thinking in different places. So there's era, and then there's era, and then there is era. So I'm not gonna say them either. I kind of have an idea what you're getting at. Possibly, I may be wrong, but my mind is thinking in another way when I hear you say era. But you probably know what I'm thinking about, and it's probably
Yeah,
wrong because only George
yeah,
knows the answer to that. But
yeah. You and I think alike, Remy. We're in that same realm. We did like practically know ourselves for what 5 to 8 years already. We've known each other.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So for those of you that don't know the story, I mean, so for those of you that are now joining us that didn't join us on Blog Talk, let me tell you something real quick. So how this whole podcasting started was several years ago when I was a young boy and George was a superstar. You know, I happened to go to. I'm using a young boy, New Japan reference there, but I actually went to I well about 9 years ago. I was like, man, I want to get more into wrestling, but not as a pro wrestler. I want to get in as you know possibly behind the scenes and so on. And I went to a Lillian Garcia album release party, which for those of y'all that actually listened to our past interviews, Salvador Santoyo, who was actually one of our guests actually a week ago, that's where I first met him too as well. Or no, it was the second place I met him, but he referenced that. So I went to that album release party, and I would never forget. I looked over to my right shoulder, and I saw this guy with a great delivery for interviews, interviewing none other than Maxine from NXT. And my friend Chris Cartwright was actually with me. He was the one that brought me there, and he was like, or he was the one that told me about the album release party. He was like, I was like, Chris, dude, check that out. That's neat. And he was like, yeah, that's the Roman show. I'm like, bro, I think I found what I want to do. I want to do that right. I want to interview wrestlers. And it's funny how life works out because eventually, later on that year, you and I talked again, and it was like, you asked me about something, and I think I referred to somebody, and I referred to them or I didn't know. But then we met again the next year, and it was like, you had this podcast. Our nephew was Eric Tapout from PWS. And I'd known Eric Tapout the year prior. I went to one of his shows the year prior. So I listened to it. I liked the way it was. And then I was like, this is a really cool show. And then I remembered that who you were. And I was like, this is the guy that was interviewing like Maxine. So I was like, man, let me go ahead and talk to this guy. I told you I can get you like Bronwyn Billington, Dynamite Kid's daughter, who y'all will be seeing on Dark Side of the Ring. Reality Check Radio was her actually, I think her second or first podcast interview. We had the Mascara Mafia from OVW, Angel Blue, and Nyla Rose, and a couple of other people. And my thing was, I told George, I told you I'd get you Bronwyn Billington and a couple other people. And then eventually, you gave me that shot and said, hey, come join my team. You'll be the booker. And I was like, yeah. And I was clanging and banging since then, getting people like Trevor Murdoch, who's now in contention for the NWA World Title, Stevie Richards, et cetera, Princess Victoria as well. So for those y'all that don't know, in Star Wars reference, George is the Obi-Wan Kenobi to my Anakin Skywalker. So he's the man that actually gave me my shot. Without George, I don't think there would have been a ringside society, or there probably would have been, but I probably would have been all over the place and so on. So yes. And if you are wondering, yes, Kathy and Rob are actually my children, Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker. Rob, if you're gonna cut off my hand, please make sure it's the right one. I write with my left one, so yeah, I really need this one. So cut off this one if you ever come if it ever comes to that. But yeah, George, I gotta say, man, thank you for what you've done. Thank you for what you're doing for South Florida wrestling, and thank you for like giving me a shot, man. Because like I said, you were actually my inspiration for podcasting, and like I said, you gave me a lot of. You actually helped me, and I know I like to give people their flowers when they're alive. You actually helped me, like, because when I joined your team, I was like, George, this man, I got to prove to this man. And I don't think you ever asked for it, but I got to prove to this man that I'm not a slouch, that why I should be a part of this team, why you should keep me when the chips are down. And I proved that with what I did. And I set a standard for myself. And that is a standard to this day that I keep. And I tell Rob and Kathy all the time, I tell them this story all the time. They're probably sick and tired of hearing it. But I tell them that story all the time. I tell them, look, there are only two people that I work with. If somebody wants to join my team, there better be one or two. There better be one or two people. Rob and Kathy, what is my saying? I always say, what are the two types of people I work with? Only.
And people you can mold into badasses.
That's right. Badasses and people that can mold into badasses. And the reason why I'm like that because I had to set that standard for myself. So I expect anybody that's on my team to be on the same level as I am. And Rob and Kathy have done. George, this guy, Rob, he reminds me of me when I first started. You would never believe that. Rob was like, yo, Remy, I got this person. I went to this show. I talked to this person. I got this person. I'm like, damn you, Rob. I can't. I can only do so many days. Gosh, I need sleep. And then Kathy's killing it too, as well, going over and getting various people like, hey Remy, I talked to this person, I talked to that person, this person wants to come on the show, and I'm like, oh man, yeah, I know I do it without two of them. But enough about me, man. Tell us about the matches at SPW, man.
Well, before I continue, I don't know if it's my side or I don't know if it's. Okay, can you hear me well?
Yep.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So because for some reason Remy's mic is sounding very weird right now.
All right, now you should be good. He has to mute himself.
Even yours, Ms. Caffey, like right now I hear everyone like with such a bad echo, and I don't know if it's because of my microphone or what.
Yes, I hear everyone fine right now. Uh-oh.
Whoa, did we lose him?
Yeah, it might have been. He said,
good old technology there.
We'll be back.
Yeah. Okay, he's back.
Oh, is he back?
All right, I guess I have to reset. Sorry, guys. So what was your question again, Remy?
Yeah, tell us about the matches at SPW, man. As a matter of fact, did we ever ask Kathy? Did we ever ask him how SPW, like, what made him decide to get into SPW?
I don't know, but he can answer it right now.
I'm getting old. I'm almost 40, so I tend to forget stuff sometimes. But yeah, George, how'd SPW come about, man? How'd you what made you decide to go from El Electro, to Reality Check Radio, one of the best podcasts you could listen to now owner of SPW?
Okay. So this might be a little long story, but I'll be happy to answer that. Uh, Basically, guys, when I first started in this business, I trained under Rusty Brooks at the Five Star Wrestling School. And what happened was that I became El Electrico, which is the character Remy was speaking about. Uh, a couple years later, I got married. Wife says, "Hey, you're not gonna do this no more. I feel like that character is embarrassment." I hung the boots because I was in love. Uh, Little did I know that 7 years later she would leave me. So when she left me, I fell in a very big depression. Very big depression, very big anxiety, very big. I did not want to live. So I basically went back to the one thing that I loved the most, and that was wrestling. So I put the boots back on, I put the my tights back on, and I went out there and wrestled. Little did I find out then, about a year in, I got severely concussed. And I was told I should never do it again. My dreams were cut short, not once, but twice. One because, and neither one of my faults, mind you. Neither one of off of my decision. So after I was forced to hang the boots the second time, I said to myself, wow, like it's almost like the wrestling business is kicking me out. What do I do? Well, one of my best friends, Mr. Roman, knew about my passion, knew about my love, knew about everything, and he decided, hey, I want to start a wrestling podcast called The Roman Show, which he still hosts to this day. And he invited me on to be a member of the show. Eventually, it became so big, guys, that I had to branch out and start Reality Check Radio. And I had interviewed some of the best people in the business, heard some of the most inspiring stories in the world, so on and so forth. Then financial issues happened because Remy, to do these things is not free. Sometimes us podcast hosts, we have to pay our guests, understandably. Sometimes we have to pay our server costs, understandably. So a lot of things got cut off again. And basically, guys, my passion was still there. I did not want to give up. It's like something you are so stubborn for that you don't want to give up. So then one day someone asked me, "Hey George, didn't you used to own this an indie company called NAW? Would you ever want to run a wrestling show again?" And that's something that you just don't say, "Yes, let's do it right now." That's not something you just say yes or no on the spot. You say, "I have to think about that," because here I am, financially on hold because I could not do my podcast no more. Yet you're asking me to run a show that's 10 times the cost of any podcast known in the world. So I said, you know what? What the hell? Then what happened was that my mother, and I'll give all the credit where credit's due to her, my mother said, hey, I want to run a wrestling show again in the city of Sweetwater. This was when she was commissioner. And I will give the money. You just get me the wrestlers. I said, sure. I got the wrestlers. I got the championships. The headline that night was Jesse Neal versus Max Stardom versus Vertigo versus Chris Silvio in a fatal four-way for the first ever Sweetwater champion. Jesse Neal won that day. Jesse Neal won that match in a fatal four-way.
George, I don't mean to cut you. Are you talking about the OV heavyweight, former OVW heavyweight champion, superstar Chris Silvio?
Yes, Chris Silvio.
Wow.
Which,
Yo.
as a matter of fact, he still has a huge reputation, not reputation, sorry, relationship with Sweetwater Pro. He's one of our bestest friends. He's one of the guys that helps us the most when it comes to finding talent. So going into that, Chris Silvio was eliminated by the Warlord that night because the Warlord was our special guest referee. And yes, I'm talking about who should be a WWE Hall of Famer, but I don't see that happening. So after the show finished, the show was a complete success. Over 300 fans. They decided, George, you should continue running. You are now the promoter of Sweetwater Pro, and here we are now.
Wow, that's cool, man. You know, you guys have actually put me on to like, because you guys put me on to people like Red Velvet, who had been wrestling since 2016. And for some reason, I don't. But then I wasn't running a podcast around that time. I was too busy trying to find my way around Japan. And I was like, I'd seen her, but I was like, yeah. And then I saw. Then you said, yo, you guys got to interview her. I'm like, okay, okay, let's make that happen. And you also introduced me to people like, you know, David Ali, who's now on AEW. He's not signed yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if he gets signed soon. Kylan King, who's a regular on there, and many others. And y'all are doing a great job of showcasing South Florida's best talent, and it's just like amazing. I'm very glad to see that things are like heating up again down there in South Florida. Because when I went down there, from what I saw, there was only 2 promotions that were running down there. This was like 9 years ago. It was FOW, Future Wrestling, and CCW, which still runs to this day. But now there's so many more popping up. I'm like, wow, this is nice. I like it.
Yeah, there's some great promotions popping up here and there, you know, in Miami, and I respect them all. Like, they're doing an amazing job. As a matter of fact, I thank those promoters. I'm saying it live on the air here right now, live. I thank each and every one of them, you know, because right now they're giving the fans something to forget this past year, this nightmare that we lived through. On top of that, they're giving these wrestlers work. Some fans out there don't understand. These wrestlers, whether you consider them independent or not, they lived off of wrestling because they wanted to make it to the E, or they wanted to make it to AEW. Or NWA or MLW or Lucha Underground, whatever be the case, they wanted to make it. So I have to say, great job to all the promoters out there in South Florida. Thank you for giving these guys work. Thank you for giving them a platform to perfect their craft. I'm not here to compete with absolutely nobody. I'm here to work together so we could give these guys the opportunity to achieve their dreams. Because trust me, I am not going to be the one. I'm going to shoot here, Remy. For those promoters who think for the life of them that the fans are coming into that show paying a ticket to see the promoter, let me tell you in your face, you're dead wrong. Those fans are not paying tickets to see the promoter. They're paying tickets to see the men and the women that sacrifice to entertain them. So swallow your promoter ego and give the benefit to the workers and let them work. And let them work where they want to work, because that's where their dreams are going to come true. Sorry, I just had to.
Hey, that's no problem. Actually, you're kind of right. I mean, it is about the wrestlers and so on. Trust me, when I'm ready, Rob and Kathy can tell you. I even tell the fans off, tell them like, look, because some of these fans, they think that, oh, they have a certain amount of followers. You understand? Yeah, fans actually do they do make wrestling go round. But even with these fans, I tell them too, like, you know, on the fan side, I tell them, like, look, you're not the show. If you want to be the show, by all means, go to a wrestling school, own your craft, and do your thing after once you graduate. So trust me, it is definitely about the wrestlers and, you know, them showcasing their talents and so on. But speaking of showcasing talents, man, I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it short. I know Kathy has a couple of questions regarding the card, and I know you're a Star Wars buff. So Rob has like and a Marvel buff too as well. So I know Rob has a million and one Mandalorian and
I wrote two questions down. Godzilla,
but it's gonna turn into 20. So yeah, it's gonna turn into 20. So I'm gonna stop right here and I'm gonna let Kathy take over. So Kathy, Louisiana Zone. Is that a Louisiana Zone shirt you got on?
Cajun shirt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna let Kathy go ahead and take over real quick. Kathy, go ahead. Floor is yours.
All right, thanks for me. Hey George, how's it going?
Hey, Kathy, long time no talks from
I
our
know,
days
right?
of hosting together.
Yep, about a year ago. Well, 2 years ago. Yeah, man, time flies, huh?
Tell me about it. What? How many? I think we interviewed together for 2 episodes or something before I passed on the torch.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. But yeah, it's been a while.
So the timeline is, I remember this correctly. You were on for one, George, and then you left. Then Kathy did one by herself. I felt bad. Then we had Bobby Montanari. And after Bobby was Paul. And then Paul, Rob came out of nowhere saying he'll do this for hot Cheetos. So I told him I'm throwing some. I told him I'm throwing some chicken nuggets, not the McDonald's kind, because I'm not that rich. And he said, deal. And yeah, that's how we got this right now.
Well,
so, yeah.
It's bad enough that Rob looks already officially guilty just sitting there in that giant couch. He looks like a Smurf in a giant sofa.
and not to mention our fourth member, Alicia Landis, the Warrior Princess. She joined us too. She actually intimidated me worse than Kathy. So she's actually here as our moderator on Twitch. So yeah. Good night, Alicia. How you doing tonight? But
Hi,
yeah,
Alicia.
Go ahead, Kathy.
All right, thanks, Hermie. So how's life been, George, since the last time we talked to you?
Man, the question is, how's life not been? Because we haven't been living for the past, a year or a year and a half? So, but aside from that, keeping myself mentally stable, keeping myself positive, because even while we were living through that pandemic, all that was in this mind, Kathy, was how am I going to come back? How am I going to come back? Because ever since I even started the catchphrase, the wait will be worth it, I said to myself, God damn it, I digged myself a hole. Now I have to make sure that the wait is worth it.
Yeah, you gotta, if you make something up, a catchphrase, you gotta keep it. You gotta stick to it.
Yep. And boy, are we ever, because sorry to kind of jump to conclusions on this, but boy, are we ever. Ricky Martinez's final Dade County match ever. Last match ever in Dade County against his teacher, against his brother, against a person, his former tag team partner in MLW, low key. First time ever happening in a squared circle, and last time you're ever going to see it live. So basically, guys, this is not Rock versus Cena, where 1 year you're going to see it, then the next year you're going to not see it. This is one time and one time only. So, yeah, if you're not there on June 12th, the only thing you can do is buy it on DVD.
Wow. Yeah, Ricky Martinez, he's been seen on NXT, AEW Dark, MLW, and then of course Loki's been in WWE, Impact Wrestling. So that's a big one. Really big one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. First time, last time. That's how we're treating that match. It's the first time it's ever happened one-on-one, Loki versus Ricky Martinez, teacher versus student, brother versus brother, tag team partner versus tag team partner. first time and last time ever happening.
Yeah, so teacher versus student and our like friend versus friend, they always make the best matches. So definitely, if you're in the Miami area, check it out.
Yep.
It's definitely it's a one and done, as George is saying. So go see it.
Dang right. Dang right. So the wait was worth it.
Yeah, that alone. So let's run down the card. So who else you have? So it's June the 12th. It's in Miami, and it's called Once Upon a Time in the South.
Correct.
So run down the card. You have the floor. Like, go ahead. Who else will be on it, and what can we expect from the show?
Ooh, putting me on the spot. Okay, so then the co-main event. You got possibly the heavyweight champion's hardest challenger to date. And when I mean the hardest challenge, I mean in every kind of way. He's a hard hitter. He's a guy who doesn't give up. He's like he says, it's nothing personal, it's just business. I'm talking about D Ramos. Okay? It's gonna go and challenge Ernest R. Alexander for the Sweetwater Pro Heavyweight Championship. Okay, in the co-main event of the show. And let me tell you something: ERA is not happy that he has to defend his championship in this championship eliminator tournament. So even let's say hypothetically, if D Ramos beats ERA, D Ramos is not out of the bullpen yet. D Ramos now has to defend against his opponent in the semifinals. And then let's say D Ramos passes that one too. He then has to defend it in the finals. The same thing goes for ERA. So these guys are not safe. They have to pass 3 grueling championship matches, and everyone is well deserving of a championship match. This is basically you're getting the first half of the quarterfinals at this show. So you got D Ramos and ERA going against each other for the SPW Heavyweight Championship. You also got some women's matches, the women's tournament. Okay, you got the debuting Black Widow coming from the Chaos Mexican Corporation, the company, that's owned by Conan in Mexico. You got Black Widow debuting for Sweetwater Pro. It's been 2 years coming that Black Widow is supposed to be in Sweetwater Pro. She's finally here, and she will be going against the Mighty Myra from California, which I believe was a guest of you guys.
Yep.
Yep. So Mighty Myra will be debuting here in South Florida. And then you got a long time rivalry, with Sofia Castillo reigniting her rivalry with the unbreakable Lexi Gomez. You got 5 years in the making, guys. 5 years in the making. Finally, the SPW Florida Championship will be on the line when Alex Todd, a guy who no longer wants to be pretty much described as a team player. A lot of people thought that freedom was the only reason he was made legitimate, or whatever be the case. Alex Todd now is making a name for himself by himself, and he wants to use Marcos Espada as the example of that. So Alex Todd will be defending the championship against Marcos Espada. And then you got this weird match. And I'm talking about, I don't know how to explain this, guys. You got the dungeon runners, these time splitters. They could go forward in time and back in time, but then they're going against this demonic, scary duo in The Family. And we have no idea who they're going to face. It could be Howla. It could be Pandora. It could be Salem. It could be Father Evil. It could be even Santeria Cortez. We have no idea who they're going to face. And the list goes on and on and on of the matches that you're going to see. Special guest host, C. Nick, will be in the house throughout the entire show. Remy, you remember Todd Pettingill, right? From the In Your House paper?
Oh, yeah.
Think Todd Pettingill. So
Wow, that's heavy right there. Because Todd Pettengill is like a well-respected radio DJ, and anybody that's worth their salt knows that as a wrestling fan would remember him from like WWF Mania when it would appear on Saturday mornings.
Yep. And let's not forget one last match. Guys, this guy made headlines all over the internet. And I'm talking about when he had his tryout. He's the first ever Cuban to receive a WWE tryout. I'm talking about Romeo Cabedo, the Cuban heist of the century, will be defending his SPW International Championship against one of the most dangerous men I've ever seen. He reminds me of a Spanish Samoa Joe. I'm talking about money-making Che with Jason Dugan in his corner, but Jason Dugan will also be in action that night when he goes against the society changer Samuel C. But again, Jason will be alone. He'll be with that dangerous Che Guzman. So, everywhere is you get something for everyone.
Yeah, sounds like it. Top to bottom, sounds like you said it's worth the wait.
Yep. Hey,
like it definitely was.
Worth the wait.
Yep, there you go. So before I turn it over to Rob, I just wanted to ask, you had a couple of people, like you've interviewed Jerry the King Lawler, you've interviewed Rey Mysterio Jr., you've met Vicky Guerrero, and you've met Sheamus. So like, what was it like interviewing those people and others? If, I probably forgot a bunch of them, but what was it like meeting all these wrestlers and getting to talk to them?
You want to know who was my most intimidating guy that I've ever had to interview?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
It was Vader.
Ooh.
And when you get told, Kathy, I'm going to give you an example. I call you on the phone and I say, Kathy, guess who we just got for I'm going to use Remy Show, for example. Guess who we just got for Ringside Society? You'll be like, oh, who did we get? Who can you possibly get us for Ringside Society? And I tell you, God bless his soul. Let's say, just to throw it out there, okay? This is just two examples. The Macho Man, Randy Savage. First thing you'll probably do is this.
Pretty much, yeah.
So you would like, yeah, exactly what Rob's doing. You'll have a heart attack and you'll be like, how the hell here's my pen, here's my papers, let me start writing. So you start doing your studies. So basically, here comes the day that we're interviewing Vader. Remy, I think you were our booker already at this time.
Yeah, I was still the booker at the time.
Yeah, so basically, so Remy heard how nervous I was to a point that Eric Tapout just was like laughing throughout the entire interview. And basically, I was so intimidated by Vader that I like froze. I did not know what to ask him. So when it was time for me to ask questions, it was like, so George, take it away with your questions. So it was like a freeze moment. So, but then I finally broke through because I saw how nice he was. Such a professional, so polite, he guided me through the interview. He didn't have to do that. It's my show. He could literally just do this. Hey, screw yourself, kid. I'm doing this for free, But he helped me. He guided me. He gave me answers that was easy to segue into. And after that, it was fantastic. It was a fantastic interview. We spoke about his time in Boy Meets World and all that stuff. And it was fun. Now, mind you, let's not talk about Sheamus because I embarrassed my best friend that night because her name's Giselle. She all throughout the entire line, she goes to me, "Oh my God, Sheamus is so cute. Sheamus is so cute. Please don't tell him I think he's cute." Guess what the best friend does? Hey, Sheamus, you see that girl that's right next to me? That's right, who's next in line? She thinks you're cute. And Seamus
No.
and Seamus just goes, "Oh, really? Watch what I'm gonna do, kid." He grabs her, gives her one of these hugs, like the sideway hugs. And I'm like, oh, this is fun. Because all you see is her pale white skin turn red. It was one of the most fun stories I've ever seen.
I'd be so embarrassed. Like, can't take you anywhere, George.
No, what was more embarrassing, Kathy, was the fact that because Seamus back in the day, he used to do a hashtag say, "Someone bring me cake." Many moons ago, I guess this was before his Celtic workouts. And me being the fan that I am, I said, "Oh, look, he put a hashtag, someone bring me cake." So we all went to a bakery across the street and found him a cake. And we brought him a cake. And he's like, this was just a joke. So we brought him cake. Hey, he asked, someone bring me cake.
Now, was it a small cake or a big cake? How big was this cake?
No, it was one of those small little circle ones.
Okay. It's like, could you
We
imagine
all shared cake
giving
with him.
Seamus a huge cake? Here you go. Plopping it on the table.
No, we all shared cake with him later. Like we all cut slices, we all shared cake with him, we all shared stories. It was a fun day. He took that as a very funny gesture.
That's awesome. Yeah, going back to Vader though, I loved Vader back in like WCW and WWF or E at the time, with Sid Vicious, he was tag teaming with him, and then like all his matches with Sting. And I would have asked about Boy Meets World too. Like that was an awesome episode. That was one of the best ones they had.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head of what his answers were. All I know is that he had to train them for the stuff they were gonna do. And basically, let me tell you something. This might hurt. Well, Vader, God bless you. Hopefully, you're resting in heaven. But Vader. Let me tell you something. The guy you meet behind the scenes is not the guy you think you see on TV. This man was one of the nicest, most polite, most professional, most laid back big men in our business, and I will never forget what he did for me that day. So, Vader, you're no longer with us, but thank you.
Yeah, I actually wanted to meet him in 2018. He was supposed to be at WrestleCon in New Orleans, but then he passed away before it happened. He had his health problems and everything. So definitely was kind of discouraged about that one. But I mean, it happened. So, but he's one of my favorites. Definitely up there.
Yep. Rey Mysterio is another one. Just wait till you meet Rey Mysterio.
Yes, that'd be pretty cool.
All I got to tell you is if you want to, just watch a week of soccer before you go meet him. Just talk to him about soccer and you'll have him yapping for days.
Awesome. Good to know.
Yes. Hey, little tidbit for our listeners. If you ever want going to a meet and greet with Rey Mysterio, talk to him about soccer.
There you go. You heard it here first. George is giving you tips on meet and greets for free.
Free tips.
Yeah. Wow. Well, before I turn it over to Rob, just want to say thank you for coming on the show again. And as we always say, we leave the mic on for you because you were the first one. Me and you were our first tag team on Ringside Society. So we'll always leave the light on for you, homie.
Word to your mother.
All right, Rob, take it away.
All right, sweet. Thank you, Kathy. So what's going on, George, man? How's everything doing down there in Florida, man? How's the weather out there?
Rainy. Rainy and humid. But finally, I get to put a face to your voice, Rob, because I've spoken to you many times on the Blog Talk episodes. I've spoken to you many times online. I finally get to put a face to the voice. It's finally good to meet you, man.
Yeah, no problem. Same to you, man. And yeah, all the Kevin Bacon and David Bowie jokes, you know what I mean? I've heard them all before, so you can throw them at me, you know what I mean? So now, when you were talking about Rey Mysterio earlier, man, I was my brother when he was younger. That was his favorite wrestler. He used to love the luchadors, you know, all that in WCW, right?
Yeah.
First show I took him to, it was an independent show for MCW, and they were at like some fire hall, a small one. And the first piece of wrestling merch I bought with my own money was a mask for him because we were up to things like, man, that looks like Rey Mysterio's mask. And I was like, man, you want this? Like 10, 20 bucks. Like, all right, I got you, man. I bought it for him. Man, he wore that thing until he grew out of it. You know, he couldn't fit it over his head anymore. I think he might have it to this day. You know what I mean? Somewhere buried. But yeah, I always remember that, man. That was pretty cool.
Wow. Well, mind you, I would take a mask over, you know, any day because my first ever wrestling memorabilia that I've ever bought going to a show was, do you remember those foam things that they would have for everyone? Like Ultimate Warrior had a hand foam of his mask. Hogan had that #1 thing. No, Macho Man had the #1, like the kind of like this or something like that. Well, Hacksaw had a foam 2x4. That was my first wrestling memorabilia.
I remember that.
I remember that too.
That's awesome.
Yep. That was my
Tatanka had the tomahawk too. I remember that one too.
Yep. Those foam things, man. Man, I miss those things. I wonder if they would actually sell, as much as they did back then. Now,
oh, they might. I haven't seen them. Yeah, I haven't seen them around either, man. It's been a long time.
Yep, very long.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of luchador masks, bro. As a matter of fact, the main picture Remy used for the flyer for this event, I was a masked luchador. I love masks. So
yeah, look, and when we were younger, we would do our own wrestling, like Raw, SmackDown, or Raw and WCW Raw. We would wrestle on the couch. You know, we had our own. Like we each had like 10 different characters. You know, I mean, we would play and match them up. My brother, his one, when he wear the lucha mask, he would be like, if he took it off, that means he was unstoppable. He hulked up, and you know, you couldn't beat him or whatever. So he would sit there, we wrestle, he tried to take it off. Nah, you ain't taking it off. Bam, bam, bam. And then he get it off and like, ah. Oh, it was great.
Oh man, the good old days, man. Good old days.
He probably hearing this and like, oh man, come on, why you telling me this? Why you telling this stuff, man? Come on.
Yeah, I just miss those times, man. I really do. It's like it brings back memories. You know, listen, if someone's listening to this show right now and they're saying, "Oh my God, they're bringing up backyard wrestling," do you not understand that Matt and Jeff started in the backyard and they were never ashamed of it? So why should we be ashamed? You start somewhere, man. You start somewhere. Anything to achieve your dream. Anything. The entire purpose is as long as in the end result you get trained, then you should not worry about where you started. Where you started was the beginning of your journey to where you want to be. So in this case, Matt and Jeff started in the backyard, and now look at them. Now they're making millions, one in the WWE and one in AEW. Is anyone saying, "Oh, Matt was a backyarder"? No, they're saying Matt is all elite.
That's right.
So what? So why are you ashamed?
Yeah.
So hey, I started in the backyard too, man. I played stupid characters. I was playing at one time the franchise. I was playing another character known as Stephen Cage. You know, I've had some different personas back in my heyday. As a matter of fact, even built a ring in a friend's backyard.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so there's many stories I have from back in my day, and let me tell you something. Those were fun because we did not have to deal with so much because it was for fun. But then we become grown-ups. We grow gray hair. We have bills. So guess what? That fun then turns into seriousness, and that seriousness then becomes wrong. That seriousness becomes Sweetwater Pro.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I remember one of my characters, man. I was coming up one. It was Mr. Sinister, man, because I was watching the old X-Men cartoon. I was like, I'll be Mr.
Oh wow,
He's the
Mr.
leader of the
Sinister.
group. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was watching. Yeah, I was trying to get an idea. I was like, yeah, my brother, and he's like doing all this. He was like Scorpion because he loved Glacier. He was like, well, I'm gonna be Scorpion. He's Sub-Zero, so I'm going up Scorpion. And I was like, all right.
Wow, freaking that wouldn't have been a bad name, Mr. Sinister, to be honest with you. But I love Glacier. Glacier's one of the nicest guys. Also, I met. I think Remy and I interviewed him together.
Okay.
Remy, didn't we?
I wasn't there, but I could tell you one thing. If you've been watching our shows, we've been interviewing a lot of his students. And George, I'm not going to sit here and play armchair booker, but I would definitely take a look at them. There's some talent down there in Atlanta. Some stuff is brewing, and yeah, I would pay close attention to them.
Well, here's the thing.
And Julia Hart, but there's a lot of talent down there.
But Sweetwater Pro is about that. It's about what you're mentioning. It's about booking the people that you don't see in Miami, Florida, or at least rarely in Miami, Florida. Like, you don't see my roster that much. Low Key is making a rare appearance. He's only shown up one other time in Miami. So, and then who I have planned for October, which is a NWA superstar, that person's never been to Miami. I'm not going to drop the bombshell now because I'm waiting for confirmation on Wednesday. But let me just say it starts with a J, ends with an E.
Okay.
And I'm just giving it away, but it's a woman. So Remy's now putting on his thinking cap. He's like, who starts with a J and ends with an E and works for the NWA?
That's right. They're filling in the blanks.
Yeah, like I could imagine Remy on his computer right now put J blank 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 E, and now he's gonna look up all the names in the freaking roster.
Like Hangman.
You're actually right, because that's exactly how I found Princess Victoria. I was like thinking about WWE Women's Tag Team titles. Who were the first holders? Princess Victoria and Velvet McIntyre. Okay, what happened to Princess Victoria? Hey, she's on Facebook. Want to be on Reality Check Radio? Awesome. Hey, George, guess who I got? Princess Victoria.
Yeah, I remember that.
So
I remember that. I remember that very well.
Or remember the time I actually had you I went to FW and I was like, George, I'm not trying to boast. I know one of these days, Rob and Kathy they're both gonna do it to me. I know they're gonna do it. I went to Rob and Kathy. So one time I went to a promotion called FWE, and it was in New York. And one of the guys I met there was Paul London, and I had his I didn't even say anything to him first. He was like, "Oh, look, there's a fan," because I had on a London and Kendrick shirt. And I go to him, and he's like, "Do you mind if I sign?" I'm like, "Bro, go ahead, man. It's your shirt." So he signs it. I ask him if he does podcast interviews, and I'm like, "Hey, George." I call George. I'm like, "Hey, George, look who I have. Look who wants to talk to you. Look who I got you for the show." I had him the phone. Paul London.
Yep. I remember that. I remember that very. And let me tell you, that was a fun interview.
Yeah,
that was a. But I will say this, Ren, just so I could get that little. You're a professional journalist, so I respect that. But I want to bring out the inner mark in you. So I'll tell you this. You better plan October 16th, because on October the 16th, when SPW presents Phoenix Rising, I'm bringing to Miami, Florida, from House of Glory, Evander James. You see, I know my boy Remy. I know how to bring out his mark outside.
That's right.
That's crazy, man. Woo.
So, Remy, I better not ever hear excuses of why you're not there on October 16th because I have Evander James for you.
Man.
Hey, Rob. Hey, Kathy. You ever want to learn how to put your boss out, like doesn't know what to say? Here's your 101.
That's right.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. I'm like, hey, Remy, we need to reunite, and he's like, what?
But going back to you, Rob. Like, as a matter of fact, that's in the backyard is actually where El Electrico first started. In Hialeah, as a matter of fact, which is a little suburb here in Miami. The back of a freaking school. Yeah, so El Electrico was actually born in the backyards, but then I went to train, and then El Electrico was born professionally. Hence the gear that you see in my main picture. Because when I worked in the backyard, hey, it's just like everyone else. It was jean shorts, a t-shirt, a old luchador mask, and that's it.
Hey man, hey, do what works, man. You gotta do your thing, man.
Exactly.
But man, look, the name of your show is called Once Upon a Time in the South, man. I love the name for it, man, because I was reading, I was like, that reminds me of this old movie with Johnny Depp and Antonio Banderas, man. I love that movie, man. The one where Johnny Depp, where he got his eyes taken out, and he's like, show me what to do. Show me where to go. Blame. Oh, I got to watch that tonight, too.
well, believe it or not, that's where we got our inspiration from.
Ooh, okay.
From that movie. We got the inspiration for Once Upon a Time in Mexico. As a matter of fact, Sweetwater Pro is now going by seasons. So the first 4 shows is based off of a season. And the first season, we're dedicating it to Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay.
Hence why you see our new logo, kind of where you see the kind of the background with the alligator right there in the middle. The logo is based off the Jurassic Park main logo. So our seasons are based off of the movie genre. A idea for season 2, which is going to be the next 4 shows after the 4 tournament shows, is the Warriors.
Ooh, nice.
Clink. So, clink. Yeah. So it's almost like Chikara in a way. You know how Chikara did their seasons with comic books?
Okay.
Because Chikara was a comic book, technically speaking. Sweetwater Pro is kind of like latching on to the movie genre.
Okay.
So basically, we're first season Jurassic Park, second season The Warriors.
That's right. Yeah, look, man. Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Mexico was a badass movie, and yeah, if it's at your show, anything like that, and I know it will be even more badass than that movie is. You know what I mean? Woo! The names you were mentioning, oh, it's gonna be fire, man. Is it an outdoor or indoor event? Because if it's indoor, man, that roof's coming off that place. I'll tell you right now.
It's an indoor show. Again, very safe. Very safe. Sanitizing, hand sanitizer, Lysol, you name it, we're probably gonna have it. But the thing is, Rob, is that this show, a lot of people remember Sweetwater Pro for being very, very family oriented. We're still family oriented, but we're family oriented with a twist.
Okay.
So basically, we like I mentioned earlier in the show, we were teenagers. Now we're adults. So that comes with the era. What were you saying, Remy?
I was doing the whole thing with Robot Chicken when they would be like, "What's a twist?"
But yeah, basically, come June 12th, you will see a different side to SPW. It's going to be a new era, a new time, a new everything, new future for all of us. And June 12th, it starts with the championship eliminator tournaments.
Mm.
And I promise not one match, not one single match is going to let you down, because here's a bombshell I'm going to give you guys.
Uh-oh.
Let me ask you guys something. 9 times out of 10, you always hear about tag team titles, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the independents, I mean.
Yeah.
Unless you're one of the major independent companies, sometimes they have their own little gimmicks. But when it comes to independents, you only hear about tag team titles. Well, here's my bombshell to you. On June the 12th, we will have tag team titles, of course. There's a tag team title tournament. But it's no longer a tag team titles anymore. For the first time in independent history, in South Florida at least, our tag team titles will be a trios tag team titles tournament.
Woo. Okay.
Woo!
Okay. Yeah, I'm with Remy on that.
So you heard it here. This was an exclusive. We're not going to be going with the norm of a tag team of 2. On June the 12th, is going to be a tag team of 3. So basically, it's a trios tag team title tournament. And for the first time ever, we will be crowning a trios tag team champions, not a tag team, a trios. And they will be defended at every show after these 4 shows.
Woo. Yeah, that is definitely a bombshell right there.
So y'all heard the man. It's not just 2, it's 3, it's 3. Tres. Trois in French. That means also san in Japanese. So yeah, 3. George, I've always been a fan of 6-man. I've been waiting for people to actually bring that back, and that's going to be a hot tournament.
Yep. As a matter of fact, there's already a lot of people lined up for this trios tag team title tournament. Much credit to my booker, Benjamin Meltzer, for doing this. I have to give him all the credit when it comes to these shows. I'm just a promoter. I go out there and I put the flyers on walls. But he is the one that's been creating all these matches. He's the one that's been creating all these stories. He's the one that's created every single thing that you're seeing on paper and in person. That's all him. And he deserves all the credit he gets.
Yeah, that's awesome. Man, the trios title. Woo. Oh, man. Yeah, oh, man. Yeah. I wish I could get down to Miami, man. Oh, man. That's a long trip. It's like a 20-hour drive for me, man. Oh.
So right now, you already now know there's going to be 2 tag team matches on June the 12th. One of them is a wild card. So one of them is a wild card. You're going to see 2 random teams put together. But in the other one, you're going to see the Dungeon Runners now teaming up with a 3rd man against the family. So now we are wondering who in the family is going to be those, who's going to be the 3 when you got 4? You got Santeria, you got Salem. No, you got 5. I'm sorry. You got Santeria, you got Salem, you got Howla, you got Pandora, and you got Father Evil. So who of the 5 is going to be the 3 that are going to be challenging in the tournament?
Okay. So if they win it, could they be pulling off like, a Freebird type deal, any member, you know what I mean? Like,
listen, I refuse to talk to the family. Last time I tried to talk to the family, I tried to sit down with Father Evil, and he wanted me to get into Satanism. And I'm like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, I ain't doing all that. I like
Yeah.
karma. Do good things happen. Do bad things happen.
Yeah.
That's all I believe in.
Those guys are supernatural. I don't want to deal with them. Pandora is possessed. Howla is from another dimension, for all I know. Salem just stands there. I don't know what the hell he does. And Santeria, he believes in that white witchcraft. For Christ, like I don't deal with supernatural people like that they don't believe in God and all that stuff. That's I leave that to them.
That's right. Hey, I'm right there with you. You're talking to somebody who has never in their life said Beetlejuice, Candyman, or Bloody Mary 3 times in a mirror or whatever. My note,
Yeah.
not,
No, definitely. That what the hell?
bulb went out.
Guys.
Uh-oh. You didn't pay your electricity bill? What happened?
Uh-oh.
Can we talk about something else but the family right now?
All right. So, man,
Yeah.
Anything.
That's scary.
Phase 4 Marvel, man. So, what do you think's going on, man? Yeah, are you excited for Phase 4? Is it Phase 4, right?
Oh,
there we go. All right. We get some Marvel talk going.
Anyway, Marvel. I'm a Marvel guy. Marvel hands down. So man, which movie am I looking forward to the most in Phase 4? Or should I? Let me tell you something. TV show wise, Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier and the Falcon.
Yeah.
Took my money. Here's my money. Get me a season 2. I was into WandaVision, don't get me wrong, but the Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'm just saying, bro, where's my wallet?
That's right. Yeah, I
I
like that show too, man. I like them both, man. I was enjoying them, man. A lot of people were on there, hating on. I was like, I loved it, man. The only thing about when I was mad when they're like, here's the new Captain America. I was like, no, I completely rejected him. I was like, nope. And I was like, okay, now he's something else now. I was like, okay.
Yep. Like I would, man. All I know is that show was amazing. Then you got Shang-Chi coming out with the. I just hope they do the Mandalorian. Mandalorian. Wow, the Mandarin, Mandarin. That they make him they do him justice in this movie compared to Iron Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see what. Then you got the Eternals. Man, what a beautiful movie that looks.
Oh man,
movie.
Yeah, man, I want to see how Blade goes, man, because I was a fan of Blade back in the day, and what's his name? I forget the actor's name. He was Cottonmouth in Luke Cage, right? He's playing Blade. Marshala Ali, I think his name is. Oh man, I can't wait to see that, man. I want to see how Blade is now. 2020, man, compared to 1998, 99.
Yeah, but Rob, when you're cutting to the chase, we always have to cut back to this. Every Marvel phase always has one main big baddie.
Yeah.
Yes, we've heard like rumors of who the big baddie is going to be going into Phase 4, Phase 5, Phase 6. We've heard from Crane, the Conqueror, to MODOK. We've heard a lot of different rumors. The whole point is, as at the end of the day, all these superheroes are going to have to team up together. And to see a joint movie with like people like Blade, people like Shang-Chi, like all of them in one movie is going to be like.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I'm a Kung Fu fan too. Like, the Raid movies, they're like my favorites and stuff, man. Oh man, yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, that team up. Ooh.
Like, we've all heard of All Elite Wrestling, AEW. Come that movie, you're going to have to call it AEM, All Elite Marvel.
That's right.
Because we thought that Captain America, Iron Man, and Hulk was good. Man, just seeing this team up that's probably coming up now. Now, I have to ask you a question, brother.
All right.
And this goes for Kathy too, if she wants to answer it. Same thing for Remy. This is my only question to you guys. Starting with you, Rob, because this is our conversation. Who do you think is gonna die in the next Guardians?
Oh, man, I heard that Batista doesn't want to play it anymore, man. And I'll go with Batista. I'll say Batista because he said he didn't want to play it anymore or whatever. So I might go with him. But I mean, if Quill does, like Star-Lord, because he got Jurassic Park too. Oh man.
How about you, Rem?
I got a good feeling it's gonna be Star-Lord, and it's gonna change the dynamic of how things go because you can't have Thor with Guardians of the Galaxy and Star-Lord. Somebody's got to go. Too many chiefs, not enough in. But let me rephrase that. Let me be politically correct. My apologies to all my Native Americans. I sincerely apologize for that. I was gonna say too many chiefs, not enough, but my apologies. Two captains can't run one ship, as they say. I should have used that one. My apologies once again. Y'all, please don't cancel me. But I would say too many two captains can't run one ship. So I would have to say it's gonna be Star-Lord. And Thor is gonna change the whole dynamic of the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's what I'm gonna go with.
All right, and Kathy?
So I've seen maybe the first one or the second one, so I haven't really caught up. But Batista came into my mind and Groot.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot all of you down with my prediction, and as a matter of fact, it makes sense because I watched the YouTube, and I guess this guy dissects everything in Marvel. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's Rocket.
Oh.
Because if you look at the logo, everything matches Rocket. From the color to the buttons to everything. And what happened in the last Guardians of the Galaxy? Remember, Rob? The last Guardians of the Galaxy was blue. And who died? Yondu.
Yeah, Yondu, yeah.
This one looks like Rocket.
Okay, yeah. Oh man, oh yeah, that might, yeah. Whew, that does make a lot of sense.
So I'm just saying, like, hopefully I'm wrong because Rocket was one of my favorite characters. He's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But personally, me, I wish none of them died. Yeah. But you make a good point. Remy makes a good point. Kathy makes a good point. Batista did mention that he no longer wants to do Guardians because he's getting old and he feels like he's getting that dad bod now.
Yeah.
So it's understandable, but from what I heard, it's gonna be Rocket. And that this one is gonna be the final Guardians of the Galaxy of this team. That we're gonna see a new team leading into phase 4 and phase 5.
Okay. That's
so
cool.
We'll see, I guess.
Yeah,
whoever, because remember, I think this the villain and this one I think is going to be Krang the Conqueror.
Okay. Oh man, yeah, that's gonna be crazy. Because I remember when the first one came out, I wasn't real big on the comics and all. I didn't hear of them, but when I watched that movie, I was like, all right, yeah, this is one of my favorite Marvel movies right here. That first one, oh, it was great.
Yeah, well, it was a great movie. As a matter of fact, I'd never even heard of Guardians of the Galaxy until that day.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, when I first watched it, I was like, wow, I'm hooked. I don't know any of these characters, but I'm hooked.
Yeah.
And I just become a fan at that moment, on that spot. Call me a bandwagon jumper. By all means, I'll call myself a bandwagon jumper for this kind of situation. I'm guilty as charged. I did not know who the Guardians of the Galaxy was. As a matter of fact, when they put out on these comic book websites saying, "Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy movie coming out," I said to myself, "Wait, they're making a part 2 to that Christmas movie?"
Oh man.
So I but then all of a sudden I see that, and I'm like, okay, let me go check it out. And when I see it, I was impressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he didn't fail, man. And then all the Marvel movies were great, man. It wasn't like when I went and seen the first Transformers movie, and then it went just downhill after that. You know, what I mean?
Yeah, don't get me started with Transformers.
I remember that first one. I was like, oh man, it re-inspired my, they brought the '80s child back out in me. Like I had Optimus Prime and stuff, and I remember bugging my mom and dad to get me Megatron for Christmas, but they wouldn't because my brother and sister might swallow the pieces. Oh man, yeah, it brought me back that first one.
Don't get me started with Transformers, my man. The first one was the only exception. From 2 to 6 or 5 or whatever they had.
Marky Mark, yeah. Yeah, because Marky Mark's the one. I think he's in the Man Now and or whatever. It's like, ugh.
Yeah,
Mark Wahlberg. My bad for the younger people. I said Marky Mark.
Yeah, the Transformer movies do not exist.
That's right.
To me, not even Doom exists to me, and that was a horrible video game adaptation. Okay, so at this point, I just hope that Hollywood doesn't touch video game movies. I'm kind of scared to see the Uncharted movie.
Ooh, yeah. Those games are real good, man.
Yep. So I pray. That's all I gotta say. I pray.
That's right. So, man, I gotta ask, man. I wrote down Kong and Godzilla, man. What did you think about the movie, man, when it came out? Were you happy?
I was extremely happy.
Okay.
And I was extremely happy with the end result.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it. But I was extremely happy. I was extremely happy with the special appearances. I was extremely happy with who we saw at the end, and I was extremely happy with the end result. So I thought this was an amazing movie. I thought it was like the Marvel Avengers, where you saw everyone from every movie come together to make one movie.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it was just plain amazing.
Yeah, I like how Kong, man, he got Thor's Stormbreaker, was wielding that.
Well, freaking that entire movie was done right.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it would never beat the classic one of Kong versus. It would never beat that classic giant puppets movie, but it made for a good movie,
Mm-hmm.
But Kong vs. Godzilla, amazing. As a matter of fact, I'll be right back, gentlemen. Give me 1 minute.
Yeah, that Kong vs. Godzilla, man. What was it? It was a 2 out of 3 fight. First one in the beginning, they had one in the middle, had one at the end. The only thing I was crazy about those monster fights, man, they're always trying to look like they're spitting in each other's mouth. They'll open up and they're like, craziness. But yeah, I am glad that they ain't got Godzilla.
Yeah, that was a pretty good movie. I had a feeling Kong would have lost though. I mean, Godzilla was just powerful, like on sea, on air.
Mm-hmm.
Although I wonder if he would have won if it was in Kong's domain. That's the question. Because if Kong was in that jungle, would Godzilla had actually been like so successful? I don't know.
I did like Skull Island, man. That was a good one because, man, you get to see Samuel L. Jackson stare down giant King Kong like, I'm going to fight you. Drop, like you're going to call him an MFer and stuff, man. It's hilarious.
So for those of you listening, if you're hearing audio cutting in and out, I'm sorry. It happens, but hey, nobody's perfect. Not even WWE.
Yeah.
Not even AEW. So yeah, it happens.
All right, I'm back.
Oh,
sorry,
right.
Take care of my elderly dog.
Oh no, you're good, man. Yeah. I'm all about, you got to take care of your hounds, man. I'm all about the hounds. I love my hounds. So I do got that, man. I'm over here for next week, man. I'm at the beach, man, and probably tomorrow, a couple times this week, I'm gonna go out surf fishing, man. So what kind of bait do you recommend, man? Going surf fishing. I usually use squid. Whenever I go out there, I get squid or, I get some, whatever, man. I'm catching flounder and sand sharks. So what would you recommend, man?
Which beach are you at?
Oh, I'm at Bowers right now. I'm at Bowers Beach in Delaware.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm not
yeah,
in
I would say
Rehoboth,
squid.
not in the Rehoboth location. That'll be later on this summer.
Well, I would say squid. That's
Squid.
always my favorite. My favorite.
That's my
bait.
go-to. Yeah, that's my go-to also.
You know, every single time I get on a charter boat or anything fishing, every single time it's been squid. Every single time.
Man, I remember one time I used to work for this heating and air company. Like it was like 20 years ago, man. And the boss chartered a boat, you know, out in the ocean. Like, yeah, we go fishing, had like, you know, beer, fried chicken, potato salad, everything, you know, on there, man. And we got on there. It was a little rough. Seas were a little rough. Everybody on there started getting seasick. There was like me, a couple other people, you know, we were fine, you know, but everybody else, they're all just like keeling over, leaning over the side. I remember my one buddy looked at me, sat down next to me, he was like, man, these seas are rough, man. I was like, I know, it's crazy. He's like, you don't feel sick? I was like, nah, I'm good. He was like, huh. Got up, stood over to the side, like, bro. I was like, oh my gosh. This is why I ain't catching nothing. They're eating all y'all stuff, man.
Well, mind you, that's the thing with me. Sometimes when I'm on a boat that the driver is a little too reckless, I decide I'm about to get seasick. So trust me, I know how your friends feel.
Yeah.
Because I've been on a couple of those. I've never thrown up, but I've been on a couple of those, and it's not fun.
Oh yeah. I haven't been seasick or whatever personally, but yeah, I've seen them down there laying there like, oh, I was like, oh man. I remember I rode there with my cousin because he worked there too, and you know, I was like, he was like, yeah, I'm going to drive and all that, and you know, I was drinking the beers and all that, and it's like, well, this guy's laid out, so I got to stop drinking, man, because I might have to drive home, man. Jeez. Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm definitely going surf fishing this week, man.
Well, mind you, yeah, I know how that feels.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait, man. I'm going to catch them, man.
Well, let us know if you catch anything.
Oh yeah, I definitely will. I'm gonna be posting it on there, man. Instagram, whatever, man. I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna put on there hash brown Rob's fishing adventure. One of those hash browns or hashtags. That's right.
You should do a Facebook Live on it.
There you go. Oh, it'd be peaceful, man. Because I'm
just saying.
Yeah, I'm like Tom Sawyer, man. I ain't one of them people that cast out or whatever, man. I'll cast it and I'll sit there. I'm good. So I do got to ask, man.
Well,
you know, with everything going on, before I, pass it back to Remy, man, all the stuff in the WWE and all that, man, we got good storyline going on SmackDown. I got to ask you, do you acknowledge the tribal chief? Roman Reigns. Oh, there we go. I see the answer right there. All right. I had to ask that, man, because everybody asked that answer.
George, before you answer that, remember, there's a young man that is not too far from you by the name of Jacob Fatu. So think carefully about that one. I would tell Roman personally, I understand where you're coming from. But that's between, I got Jacob. There's Jacob and then there's Roman. So yeah, I'm just saying, George.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, Jacob looking at me. Okay, you know what I mean? Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. So yeah. I'm like, which one is it, Jimmy or is it Jimmy who's like, I ain't nobody's big? You know what I mean? That's how I am. I'm with him.
How honest do you want me to be?
Oh no, I was asking you as a joke.
Oh, okay. No, because
I was asking you, and I was joking when I asked that.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be straight honest with you guys. This is the best Roman Reigns we've ever seen.
Oh, I agree.
So every single time I see Roman Reigns on TV, I say to myself, where the hell was this Roman Reigns 5 years ago? But that's just me. I've always wanted him to be a heel, never a face.
Yeah, they finally embraced it, man. Even when they tried to push him, try and cheer him, he was always booed. Yeah, finally embraced it, man. He's doing the best character work of his career right now.
Yep.
Killing it. Man, it's just like, man, who's going to dethrone him? Like Big E, somebody like that. I don't know.
Agreed.
Yeah,
100% agreed.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to dethrone him. But yeah. But yeah, man, before I pass it on back to Remy, man, I want to say, man, it was awesome having you come on, chat with us, man, about, Sweetwater Pro, and all the card coming up, Godzilla, Marvel, surf fishing, all that good stuff, man. I definitely had a blast chatting with you, man.
Thank you very much for sharing all those stories with me.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. And I hope your show goes great, man. Y'all kick ass, man. I wish nothing but the positives to you and your family and everything, man.
Thank you very much. Same thing for you, Rob.
All right, man. Yeah, no problem, man. All right, Remy.
Yeah, George, I gotta say, man, it was great catching up with you again. Great. I got a question. So, are there any sponsorship offers for SPW? Like, I've seen your good friend Jeremy Gomez has offered that as well, and Mission Pro, and even RWR over in Texas. Does SPW have any like, if some people want to, like, some podcasts want to sponsor your show, are there any sponsorship opportunities with y'all?
Well, here's the thing. There are sponsorship opportunities, and they're very, very low. It's nothing crazy. But my sponsorship deal for podcasts particularly, and whether you want to do it for June 12th and just say, I'm not saying this is something now, Remy. I'm just saying as an example. Even if you wanted to do this for June 12th and you say, here, George, here's some money, just name drop us on June 12th, and then we'll take your idea into consideration on October, then that's great, by all means. But basically, we have some very small sponsorship deals. But for podcasts, what we're doing is that if you pay a sponsorship deal for us, we allow you to set up shop on the day of the show and have exclusive live interviews on the day of the show.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, say, for example, Remy, again, example, October. Let's say October. If you said, hey, George, here's, just to throw a number, here's $100. Okay? Here's $100. You know what I'm going to say? Okay, Remy, set up a table, set up your microphones, have Kathy fly down, have Rob fly down, have you fly down. You already paid your entrances. You sit at your table, and you tell me who you want to interview. Not during the show hours, but before the show, during the intermission, and after. And you say, hey, George, I want that guy. Hey, George, I want that guy. And I'll say, okay, I'll go see if he'll do an interview. And then he'll sit down with you guys right next to you, and you'll do a live interview on that spot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So the 100 covers your entrance, and the 100 covers your table.
Awesome. So for those of y'all with podcasts that are listening or want to get into podcasting, here's your opportunity with a credible promotion run by a very credible wrestling fan / promoter. If you are interested, hit them up, and definitely get down to Miami, or even if you're already in Miami, just get down to it's Rev Soccer, right?
Revo Soccer.
Revo Soccer. You head down to Revo Soccer in Miami, and pay your fee, and get yourself set up, and get your name out there and so on. So definitely that's a good opportunity to take care of as well, to take part in. And like I said, and I could tell you, right, I wouldn't lie to y'all, SPW has actually showcased many of your current stars you see on TV, like Red Velvet, Kylan King, David Ali, and many, many more. Max Stardom is his name, right?
No, Ricky Martinez.
Max Stardom.
He actually goes by Ricky Martinez. He dropped the Max Stardom.
Yeah, Ricky Martinez, and many more. So definitely check them out as well. June 12th, man, I look forward to seeing, to hearing about it and so on. Is it going to be on Fight TV or Title Match Network or anything, or?
We're still working on that. It's still work on progress.
Awesome. All right. Well, with that being said, George, thank you very much for being on the show. Before we actually let you go and shut down the show, where can fans find you on social media if they want to find out when the next SPW show is, or if they want to come down and check it out? And where can wrestlers find you if they want to, appear on your show?
Well, they can't contact me if they want to appear on my show. They have to contact Benjamin Meltzer on Facebook. He's our booker. He's our lead guy when it comes to talent, inquisitions. So please do not contact me. If you want to be my friend, I welcome you. My name is right there, right there. my right there. My name is right there. If you want to find me on Facebook, just look up that name, friend me. We'll talk, but don't do business with me. You have to do business with Benjamin Meltzer. But if you do want to follow, if you if you do want to follow the product and you do want to become a fan and you want to know when the next shows are, our Instagram is Sweetwater underscore. Uh, wow, wow, my mind just went blank. This comes with old age, guys. Basically, is Sweetwater underscore pro underscore SPW.
Awesome. So y'all definitely heard it. Y'all heard what the social media links are. Go now, follow them on Instagram, and definitely make sure you tune into their product. If you are in South Florida, there is no reason for you not to attend this show. Support indie wrestling. If you don't support indie wrestling, I'm gonna have Rob Bass eat your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I'm gonna have Kathy take you on some crazy misadventure that will make you'll never be the same again. Trust me, she's about that life. So yeah, support indie wrestling because that's where most of your future AEW and WWE Impact Ring of Honor superstars come from. So with that being said, yes, June 12th, check out SPW. We'll be posting a flyer on our Instagram page along with the many other cards, many other matches that will be on that card. There's no reason why you should not check it out. But with that being said, it's about time for us to shut down this show. My eyes are getting heavy. I mean, it's pretty much time for me to go ahead and hit my bed. But before I do that, I just gotta ask Rob, where can fans find you on social media if they want to, be on the show? Where can wrestlers and promoters find you if they want to be on the show or if they want to book you? Because for those y'all that don't know, he's trained to be a referee now. You're gonna see Rob in the black and white, not the NWO black and white, but the Danny Davis black and white, 80s WWE reference there,
Right
doing his thing in the middle of the ring. So where can we find you on social media, man?
You can find me at Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at Rob underscore Bruce 82 and YouTube, Facebook, Rob Bass.
Awesome. And Louisiana's own Kathy Knight, the woman that gives me so much trouble and puts me in so much expense. I get more loss than profit with her, but hey, we love her anyways. Where can fans find you on social media if they want to, talk wrestling, be on the show? Where can wrestlers and promoters find you if they want to be on the show as well?
So I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and Discord, all at BLUE70517.
Awesome. She's everywhere. But also, if you a special shout out to our mod on Twitch, Alicia the Warrior Princess. You can, if you want to talk to her and shoot the breeze about wrestling, you can find her on Instagram and Twitter at EndoSurvivor282. She's a really cool person. Definitely go ahead and follow her as well. If you want to find me on social media, not that I have anything interesting to say these days, you can find me on Twitter at DRemyBlue. You can find me on Facebook as well under Remy Blue. It's a picture of me at WrestleMania 28 with my friend Adam. Also, our podcast is on Twitter at Ringside Society. Our podcast is also on Instagram at Ringside Society. And we also have a Facebook group. Yes, if you guess the name is Ringside Society, you guessed it correctly, but we don't have anything to give away. But our summer giveaway is coming up, so hey, maybe you'll win something there. But we're also on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019, and we also have a merch store. Yes, it's on Teespring. Just look up Ringside Society. We have a lot of cool designs there. More to come. Definitely support us. If you cop our merch, all proceeds go back into keeping this show afloat. It does not go into our pockets. Trust me. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. We really and truly do appreciate it. To those of you that are going to listen to us later on, thank you in advance. And those of you that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away. Well, I'm sorry, but like myself in a candy store, we're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we definitely ain't stopping. It's been 2 years. You think they'd get it by now. But with that being said, we here at Ringside Side just want everybody to know that we understand that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. We're definitely not any other. We're definitely not any other podcast. Hashtag we are not the same. But matter of fact, we're pretty one of a kind, like Rob Van Dam. But anyways, Rob, we'll be back next Sunday with another. Well, not next Sunday, next Thursday with another impressive guest. A man who goes by the name of Eric. Let me get his name real quick. I don't want to mess it up because I'm not disrespectful like that, even though sometimes I do have, a couple of moments. But his name is none other than Eric Arvises, and he's out of Quebec. Yes, we'll be taking a trip to Quebec, Canada to actually interview this guy. And you're probably wondering, why are we interviewing him? Well, he's actually a wrestling theme creator. Yes, he creates theme music. And he's done it for two of our alumni guests, Karma Dean and Louis Lessons. And he has a lot of great stuff. So if you're a professional wrestler, you're going to want to listen to this interview as well. But until then, with that being said, Rob Bass, Kathy Knight, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for our good friend, the Sultan of South Beach, the Baron of Biscayne Boulevard, Senor Suavemente, Jorge Alonso, the owner of Sweetwater Pro Wrestling, who's having this show this coming Saturday, June 12th, in Miami.
Woo!
What type of podcast, Charlie?
All right, 3, 2, 1. We're the
Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast. And just remember, we're still going through a pandemic. So until then, stay healthy, stay safe, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware.
Bye.